All right, under development, episode one. Here we go. Um, so I guess I just want to break out like why am I streaming right now? And really, this is for three things. One is accountability to myself, um, making myself show up every single day. And I'm going to break out what in a bit. Two, I think this will be kind of just interesting to look back on someday if this project works out. If not, it is what it is. There's no real downside, right? Um, what else do we have? Yes, probably the biggest one. Right now, I'm super uncomfortable on camera. And so, literally, just sitting down and forcing myself to be on camera for a couple hours at a time is going to uh, help a lot, I hope. So, familiarity and comfort. Yeah, I think those are the big three. Um, I guess one more is just like if I'm live streaming, there's some um, discoverability. So what? I am working on a lead gen agency called Ricochet Revenue. Effectively, what we do is install a pixel on client's website that de-anonymizes their traffic. Oh, question's going to be the death of me. And then we filter results and pull out decision makers at ICP fit companies. So for instance, VP of marketing at biotech startups for a client. Every time that happens, it basically flags that they've visited. And then finally, we can automatically send an email sequence to that visitor that turns them into an inbound lead for our client. So today's story is basically a bunch of people go to our client's website, but bounce without filling out contact form. That's like 95% of the time, which is a ton of lost revenue. With us, de-anonymize 20 to 30% of. Did I not add this as a fucking word? De-anonymize 20 to 30% of web traffic. Something like 10% to 20% of visitors are actually a good ICP fit. This is based on testing that I did with one beta customer, an IT firm with multiple locations. And then right, so like let's say for every 100 visitors would have been, actually let's do this, 100 visitors leads to 5 contacts minus 5 contacts from form fill leaves 95 visitors. Of those 95, we figure out who basically like 15 to 25 of them are. Of those, some small percentage, basically like 1.5 to 3 of them will actually fit the ICP criteria, a decision maker at a good fit org that client could, should sell to, or is already targeting. We're able to connect with 10 to 20% of them successfully, turning them into an inbound lead that's likely to convert. So basically, if 15% of those ID'd good fit users respond positively, that's 0.5 leads per day that are in pipeline, great fit, plus inbound, i.e. going to convert. That leads to 13.5 amazing leads per no. Assuming 100 visitors per day. You should be able to convert 1 out of 5, i.e. 20% of inbound leads into closed won revenue. Honestly, like if you can't hit that, then you're pretty shit. So 20% of 13.5, horrible at public math, but basically that's 2 to 3 closed won deals per month that we salvaged for clients. Assume they pay 50K ACV, that's, let's go 2.5 times 30, that's 75K in closed won revenue per month. Or 900K per year. So effectively, value equals 900K per year in closed won revenue that was previously slipping through fingers of the org. I mean, that's enough to basically a new sales hire, marketing spend, product investments, etc. It's really high margin because you're not doing cold, or your salesperson is no longer doing inefficient cold email, but rather talking to 13.5 great fit leads per month. Which, like, honestly, for any salesperson, I think is actually a reasonable pipeline to have, right? I mean, 13.5, assume that each one is an enterprise-ish, like SMB, honestly, even SMB deal. You're talking to them once or twice a week. You're getting these 13 leads. Like, that's not quite all that you should be doing, but between all of the CRM work and everything else, like 13.5 active pipeline deals is reasonable for an AE to work. I would expect them to be doing a little bit more, but that's effectively an AE. And on the back end, our offer is basically we charge a per lead fee that breaks out based on the ACV of the client. 100K deals will be more per lead than $6,000 deals. Worth noting, I'm not going to work with really small ACV deals, right? So that's the core thesis behind the company. So here's how I'm getting my initial growth. Actually, current status of the product and project. So basically, website with basic landing page is done. RicochetRevenue.com. That's here. The sort of core language that I'm going after is helping your sales team hit the ground running. I've already been through this, but effectively, you're hiring your sales team to close deals, not to waste time blasting off cold emails. But unless marketing is generating a ton of inbound interest, that's where they're going to spend their time. Here's basically how you can generate all that inbound interest. Fill their pipeline with leads who've already visited your website and match your ideal customer profile conversations instead of crappy campaigns. And the rest of this just breaks out, hey, 5% of the people that go to your website are actually converting. We're going to turn that other 95% into deals. We're going to do this pretty simply, de-anonymize your website traffic, filter for good prospects, and then win them back with a targeted email campaign. Reasons why it works, 6 reasons. Basically, the big one here being reviving dormant purchase intent, but it's also going to help sales teams focus only on the best fit prospects. It's going to cut down on how much manual prospecting they're doing. For every lead that you're closing, that's actually increasing the ROI of your marketing spend because you're spending money on Google ads or Facebook ads or whatever to get people to your site, maybe even on SEO, like to invest in a blog strategy. Whatever you did to get people to your site, you're spending money on. So the more people, the more conversions that you can get for your existing traffic, the higher your ROI of your marketing spend goes. And then choose sort of client, or I guess prospect focused items, differentiating with value packed emails. Basically, prospects are likely comparing vendors, and we're helping our clients rise above the noise by delivering value packed emails instead of just buy me, which is what most people do. And then also speed the lead. Basically, we're sending off these emails as soon as we identify someone, sometimes even before they filled out, or almost always before they filled out a lead form, which means that you're going to win that race. We have a little calculator here to figure out, based on the traffic, how much traffic, or how many conversions, I should say, you should expect to bring in. And then we basically set up this offer to have a $2,500 prove it project, which is a 2-week project to show that it works. excuse me, and then an ongoing fee that's sort of variable. So website is done. Offer. So I showed it's 2.5K for Prove It project. I'm also doing cold outbound, and that's what the majority of this time is going to be spent doing. But basically, I'm offering a free 2-week Prove It project to show that it works. The copy is effectively, I have a script that will tell you when a decision maker title from a ICP industry visits prospect names Fat Fingers website. It's way more efficient to reach out to them instead of blasting off cold emails. Why don't we set up a free 2-week Prove It project where I'll de-anonymize your website visitors and send you any who meet your ICP criteria. So basically taking the Hormozy approach to offers, we're going value on top over effort on bottom, higher outcome equals higher conversion rate. So value on top is qualified inbound leads over free price. This may actually be, it'll take 3 minutes to set up on your end. 3 minutes to set up. I think what I'm missing here is social proof. Which I don't have much of, which is 0. And I think that's going to bite me right now. Like I've set up this system for an IT consulting firm and was able to demonstrate leads to them. But that's basically all that I've been able to do so far. So I'm really needing someone to take a swing on this and test it out, thus the sort of free offer that I'm giving here. But I don't know, someone's going to say, you want to give me free qualified inbound leads for free? Yeah, fuck it, I'll take a swing on this. So distribution, I'm going to be cold emailing to get this off the ground. Specifically targeting founders, seed stage startups in B2B with ACV greater than, I mean, I think that you probably need 12K at least to justify this, probably more, but I'm going to go 12K. And traffic greater than, I think that it's got to at least be 1,000 per mile. Let me look at my calculator though to make sure that that's even feasible. Yeah, so at 1,000 per month, you've got 3 leads that I'm expecting to be able to drive. That's pretty small, but it's reasonable, especially if I can show them that there's 30-ish actual qualified people on their website. This gets me roughly 3 inbound positive replies to pass to client. All right. So I think that that is like a reasonable plan here. Let's go through just real quick. So I'm streaming this basically to hold myself accountable to follow this plan and to get comfortable on camera. I'm building a lead gen agency called Ricochet Revenue, where we're going to de-anonymize our client's website traffic, filter out anyone who's a decision maker at an ICP fit company, and then automatically write and send them an email sequence that's basically like a 5-day educational course a la PGA, which is Cole and Dickie Bush. All right. So my initial offer here is basically a cold email saying, hey, I'm going to set up this free 2-week prove it project to show you that I can generate leads from your existing website traffic. So let's write a couple really good emails to get this right. So sourcing, I have taken a look and I think that I can look on YC to get some good leads. And then I'm gonna need to find a source, other sources of seed early stage startups to trigger outbound. Going after the growth founder, usually a growth and eng founder at startup. Picking this up. So let's just hit this off. Trigger if they're hiring for AE, SDR, BDR, biz dev manager. This may be a little bit after their seed. But anyways, say, why am I reaching out? What can I do? What is my offer? What do you need to do? If I can answer those 4 things, I think that it's going to be a clear email. So either congrats on the raise, looks like startup is doing some really cool stuff around prospects category. Saw that you're hiring your first sales hire. Here's an idea to help them hit the ground running. Looks like you just raised. Here's a way to inject some momentum into your pipeline. So probably testing something along those lines. What can I do? So basically, I have a script that can de-anonymize website traffic, returning visitors' name, email, LinkedIn profile, even if they don't fill out contact form. I have a script that can alert, flag whenever a ICP role name from an ICP industry name visits your site. I think those are both solid. And then the follow-up to that is it would be more efficient to reach out to them than blast off cold emails to get your first customers. So targeting or retargeting, probably. Retargeting these perfect fit prospects will generate new inbound for name. And targeting these perfect fit prospects will be more efficient than blasting off cold emails to people who never heard of or name. Basically, I can figure out who's on your site. That feeds retargeting that drives new authos. Basically, I'd be happy to prove it by setting up a free 2-week proof of concept where I'll pass you the best leads or good fit leads. Interested in a proof of concept, no cost. We can set up my system and run it for 2 weeks. If you're interested, we could set up a free 2-week Prove It project where I'll send you the best fit leads from your website traffic. The cost, it's easier to show than tell. Would you consider a proof of concept project where I'll pass you the contact information visitors who fit your ICP criteria, no charge. I heard a really good follow-up to this that's basically if you like the leads, we can continue the conversation, but there's no need for a long-term commitment. I just want to show you that it can work. I guess you in, you down, aim to try, want to learn more, something like that. It'll only take 3 minutes to set up just a bit of just this little script that goes below your Google Analytics script in the head of your website. All right, let's go through these and pull out the ones that sound the best. Out of these, I think this one's the most timely. And it's also already tied into the copy that I have on my homepage. So you're making your first sales hire. Here's an idea to help them hit the ground running. If I'm the founder, that's interesting because it's timely and I'm worried about making a good hire that delivers. That's pretty direct. I have a script that can flag whenever. I have a way of knowing whenever I think this one. I think this needs a little bit of work, but basically I have a script that de-anonymizes your website even if they don't fill out a contact form. If we installed it on the website, it could flag whenever it's on your site, visited your site. Interesting because it's clear, I think. I have a script that de-anonymizes website traffic even if they don't fill out a contact form. I think that I would add this as a new line. If we installed it on the Acme website, it would flag whenever a VP of marketing from a pharmacy company visited your site. Interesting, because it's clear and clearly relevant, targeted. did homework on ICP. It'd be easy to reach out to these visitors and start a conversation, almost like an abandoned cart email. That's interesting because it's sort of drawing the analogy to something that people already know that it works, right? It's almost like an abandoned cart email for B2B. So I think that I want to combine this plus the efficiency. So it'd be easy to reach out. To these visitors and start a conversation. Almost like an abandoned cart email. You could easily reach out to these perfect fit visitors and start a conversation. Doing this would be way more efficient than asking or new sales hire could reach out to these perfect fit visitors and start a conversation. And this would be a more efficient use of their time than asking them to build their own. I want to show something negative here. So blast off cold emails to prospects who've never heard of or name. Interesting because analogy to something that works. So it's interesting because you're drawing the analogy to the abandoned cart and giving a clear, logical path to new revenue. So at this point, the prospect, if they've read this far, is saying, okay, I could get more oppos from my existing website traffic. That's interesting. What's the catch, cost, downside, etc. I need to delight them with the offer. They're on the hook, just nibbling. I need to hook them with an offer. Okay. So offer, which of these stands out? I think a variation of this is going to be the winner. So it's easier to show than to tell. Would you consider a proof of concept project? No charge. I'll pass you the contact information for your site visitors. We could run it for a week or two. See whether the results something like that. So it's basically value, value, and then it's not going to cost that much. So it's like both of these paragraphs are basically like value first, and then paragraph structure is set up for Mosey like value, end of the day. This is a really good offer if you're a startup founder. Even if one deal comes of it, that's an unlimited upside because there's no cost. Literally 3 minutes of your time. I do like this sentence a little bit more though. So it's easier to show than to tell. Would you consider a proof of concept project, no charge? I'll pass you the contact information, name, email, etc. for your website visitors who are decision makers at companies in the pharmaceutical industry. We could run it for a week or two. I think no charge. It'll only take 3 minutes to set up, just a bit of JavaScript to copy paste below your Google Analytics script. Easy offer, low risk. So then putting it all together. All right, let's read this. Saw that you're making your first sales hire. Here's an idea to help them hit the ground running. Maybe add a little bit of pizzazz here. Here's an idea to help them hit the ground running. I have a script that de-anonymizes website traffic even if they don't fill out a contact form. If we installed it on the Acme website, it could flag whenever a marketing manager for a pharmaceutical company visited your website. Almost like an abandoned cart email, your new sales hire could reach out to these perfect fit visitors and start a conversation. This would be a way more efficient use of their time than asking them to blast off cold emails to prospects who've never heard of Acme. It's easier to show than to tell. Would you consider a proof of concept project? I'll pass you the contact information, name, email, etc., for your website visitors who are decision makers at companies, at pharmaceutical companies. At companies in the pharmaceutical industry. At pharmaceutical companies. We could run it for a week or two, no charge. I forgot. This is the bit that I want. Let's look at this. A minute, 51 seconds. It's a bit long. So what can we rejigger here? So that you're making your first sales hire. Congrats. Here's an idea to help them hit the ground running. I have a script that do known as website traffic. It could flag whenever a marketing manager visit your website. Okay, so that's shifting the value up just a little bit higher. Almost like an abandoned cart email, you could add. You could have your new sales hire reach out to these perfect fit visitors and start a conversation. I don't even think that you need this. Almost like an abandoned cart email. That'd be more. That'd maybe just generate more opportunities than reaching out to cold prospects. Okay, so within these first 3 sentences, I basically told them, hey, I acknowledge that you're hiring a sales hire. That's why I'm reaching out. Here's an idea, like here's value. I could tell you every time that your perfect fit customer visits your website, you could have your sales hire reach out to them to generate opportunities. It's easier to show than to tell. Maybe here's where I put this no charge. Is it easier or better to put it here? think that's better. I'm going to take 2 minutes to set up. All right, so we just cut off half the time there. I think that's pretty good. I'm writing a cold outbound sequence to startup founders in the seed stage who are hiring their first salesperson. Can you review this email copy and give me specific recommendations to make it more compelling or increase positive reply rates? Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. That's interesting. I think that I like my version more, but this like specific bulleting out is quite interesting in terms of skimmability. Is there a way to view email on mobile? All right, that's not helpful. So I guess I will just do this. Just gonna email a different email address and say sales hire. All right, I'm gonna go with that for now, and I'm gonna check it on my phone. Let's see how this looks. All right, so that does fit on one single iPhone screen. All the text. Oh, that's harder than I thought it would be. So that's great. All right. So the only things after reading this on a different screen, the only things that I want to change are moving this up here. Took a little bit more time off of it. I think that's a pretty solid email. Answers why you, why now, what, value, and how. Clear what you want me to do. All right. So there's my outbound email. I think that should work pretty well. So then I want to go back through here. So I've got YC. I should probably find some other seed and early stage startups, basically figure out and trigger anytime that someone raises a seed round that's announced and reach out to them. There's well found, which is angel list. an environmental jobs board with sales roles. So basically, I think that I need ideally I have 5 to 10 of these lists that I run automatically every day and pull down new roles. With large list, I can dump into Clay, which I have already built 2 prospecting lists. List 1, ICP fit, which is basically I upload the URL and it gives me the website traffic. Two is I upload the founder name and company name and job title. It gives me, so that's actually what I want. Contact info. Upload the founder name. It gives me their email. So then I send 20 to 25 emails outbound per day. There we go, there we go. Lost my screen for a second. Basically, that is 400 to 500 emails per month that are highly targeted and relevant with a no-brainer offer on the back. Founders' emails are easy to find, which is a bonus. So assumptions off the back of this is if I send 25 emails per day at I'm going to be generous here and give me a 5% positive reply rate. That's $1.25, 6.25 per week, and 25 per month. 25 per mo times, I should be able to convert. I mean, I know that the software, the de-anonymization itself works. So then it comes down to, do they actually have enough web traffic and are they able to convert or see the path to converting them? And do they have the infrastructure in place to reach out to them, or will they hire me to reach out on their behalf to these prospects? I think that I could get 2/3 of them to say yes to that, convert, and I think that I could get them to pay me 2,500 per mo. That's a big assumption, but 25 times, that's 16.5 converted. I'm adding something like $41,000 in new MRR. Assume I retain 80% for 12 mo. Actually, it's probably less because they're startups. I'm going to say 60% for 12 mo. 41 times. Is that the equivalent? I think that I can say that that's the equivalent of 60% of 12, which would be 7-ish. 7.2 times 2,500 equals $18,000. Is that correct, though? That can't be correct. So every new client is worth $18,000. So what I'm really doing here is that is 297K in new unrealized revenue per month that I'm bringing on. Costs for me are 500 per mo per client. So something less than that, but still tremendous. All right, so that's really the outline of the company. I mean, I know who I'm going after. I know what I'm offering. I have the sort of outreach to do it. Really, my tasks in front of me, ID 3 to 5 more startup lists, hiring, sales, eventually build a web scraper for each. And then set a schedule for emailing 25 new founders per day with email script above. I think that there's more to test there, whether email is actually the right channel, but I think that that helps. And figure out social strategy to start being seen organically inbound. But really, if I can do those things, like I think that I have a business here. I guess last is like being able to operationalize the new clients that I'm trialing with. Core product, which is 90% complete. I will walk through that product and probably spend quite a bit of time building and tweaking that product. But basically, I already have a product built in Bubble that ingests webhook from the anon, filters against clients, ICP, and returns Y and for a good fit. Off the back of that, I would love to build future build email triggers with multiple cohort dash targeted messaging for each. I also need like build reporting for results. At end of 2-week POC. Basically leads, non leads fit, expected revenue, move forward recommendation. This pricing. So that's pretty much it. This is the big one though. Build automation with Clay and instantly to do this auto magically. If I could do that and have these on autopilot, then this gets really interesting because my customer acquisition is pretty easy. But effectively, that is what I'm up to. I hope this was a good episode. One, it was probably a little bit boring for some people, but if you're into this like MarTech lead gen agency space, I mean, this is literally the earliest days, or just about the earliest days of me building this business. So we'll see how it goes moving forward, but this is where I'm at today, which is June 5th, 2024. I will probably hop on later on a separate video to start building out those startup lists and to schedule the emails going out to the new founders. I already have a list of like 10 YC founders that I can email that I should send out tonight. But that's about it. End of the video. Thanks.